I think when you look at the challenges out of Washington right now, it's bigger than healthcare. It's the EPA. These are issues of power and authority.
That's Scott Pruitt, the 14th Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency. Pruitt, as Oklahoma's Attorney General, previously sued the EPA 14 times, and now he's running it. Born to a devout Baptist family in central Kentucky, Pruitt's childhood consisted of attending church and playing baseball. He earned a scholarship to the University of Kentucky, where he played second base, and later went on to University of Tulsa's law school. After graduating, Pruitt entered a private practice and co-owned the Oklahoma City Redhawks. But he took an even bigger swing when he shifted focus and became a state senator of Oklahoma in 1998. Pruitt spent 8 years in Oklahoma's Senate representing Tulsa and Wagner before he was elected Attorney General of Oklahoma in 2010. One of his first tasks was dissolving the section of the office that focused on environmental cases and replacing it with a federalism unit, which was set up to combat Obama's environmental agenda.
I will fight the Obama administration. I will put criminals behind bars, and I will hold the federal government accountable for its failure to secure our borders. I'm Scott Pruitt. I ask for your vote.
Here are a few of Pruitt's greatest hits as Attorney General. Pruitt penned 5 bills seeking to reduce access to abortion, sued Colorado for legalizing weed, and promoted the distribution of Bibles in public schools. Some of Pruitt's most notable stances were on LGBTQ rights. He went to court to back Oklahoma's ban on same-sex marriage, sued the government to prevent the transgender community from using the bathroom that suits their gender. Pruitt even argued that the protection clause of the 14th Amendment doesn't extend to gays and lesbians. And from Attorney General, Pruitt rounded the bases and scored the nomination for Administrator of the EPA. During his confirmation hearing, Pruitt didn't acknowledge that human activity is the primary cause of global warming, going against what 97% of scientists had to say.
No, Senator, as I've indicated, the climate is changing and human activity.
But you haven't told me why you think the climate is changing.
Well, Senator, the job of the administrator is to carry out the statutes as passed by this body. And to
why is the climate changing?
Senator, in response to the CO2 issue, the EPA administrator is constrained by statutes.
I'm asking you a personal opinion.
My personal opinion is immaterial.
Despite his successful stint as a ball player, Pruitt swung and missed on almost all the lawsuits he filed against the EPA.
And I've read that you have initiated, and it has been mentioned before, 14 lawsuits in your independent capacity as the Attorney General of Oklahoma, and apparently 7 of those cases have been resolved, 6 of which you have lost. My question is, I hear that you are a lover of baseball. What would your batting average then be?
It was generally above 300, which is pretty good for a second baseman.
Yeah, my calculation is it's 142.
Regardless of the joint letter signed by 447 former EPA employees opposing Pruitt's nomination, he still made Trump's team and was confirmed by a vote of 52 to 46. Just days after he was sworn in, thousands of emails were released online, detailing conversations between Pruitt and an array of different energy and conservative groups, reiterating just how close Pruitt's ties are to the industry. Overall, the fossil fuel industry had donated over $300,000 to Pruitt's office since 2002. Like Trump, Pruitt was a leading voice against the Paris Accord and strongly backed the president when he made the decision to withdraw the U.S. from it.
The discussions the President and I have had over the last several weeks have been focused on one key issue. Is Paris good or bad for this country? He determined that it was bad for this country. It hurt us economically. It didn't achieve good environmental outcomes, and he made the decision to reject the Paris deal.
As administrator, Pruitt has been attempting to hide certain public information and has taken down over 1,900 agency web pages dedicated to climate change. According to a New York Times article, Pruitt often makes important phone calls from other offices rather than use the phone in his office. And he's accompanied, even at EPA headquarters, by armed guards, the first head of the agency to ever request round-the-clock security. Although Pruitt heads the agency that is meant to protect the environment, it seems like he's going through extensive measures to protect himself.
There are all kinds of studies that contradict you. Are we supposed to believe that that's all a coincidence?
No, look, Chris, I've said through this process, in my confirmation process, individually with senators as well, that there's a warming trend. The climate is changing, and human activity contributes to that change in some measure.